Hi, I'm Michael Fry, President and CEO of Deepwater Subsea. In this episode of Daily Grind, I talk about the 33 strategies of war and why having an alphabet soup after your name really isn't the experience that you need to get back in the hustle. Now let's get into the show. "3:30 on a Wednesday morning. A lot of people will wake up today and they'll say, hey, it's hump day. And for me, every day is hump day. You get up in the morning and you get after it and you go and you hustle and you grind and you just do whatever it takes to get to the next level and to get through the day to be successful for tomorrow. I reference a lot of times the books behind me. One of the books I love to read is The 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. It's a really good read. It's not one of your standard books to where you have to read it, cover to cover. You can kind of cherry pick and go back and forth. But one of the things I love, one of the chapters, one of the strategies is create a sense of urgency and desperation. He calls it the death ground strategy. Basically, to summarize, it says you're your own worst enemy. You waste precious time dreaming of the future instead of engaging in the present. Cut ties with the past and our unknown territory. Place yourself on death ground, where your back is against the wall and you have to fight like hell to get out alive. If you look at every day with a sense of urgency, what you'll find is that the progression you make into trying to get back into the game will happen a lot faster if you sit around and kind of bitch and complain about the moment or what happened yesterday. Forget about yesterday. We understand that the industry is in kind of a turmoil at the moment. What we have to do is just pick ourselves up and get back at it and just do what we have to do to survive. If you do nothing, what happens tomorrow? If you do something, then there's a possibility. I reference the farmer. I talk about the simile with farmers and hustling and all that. Farmers wake up in the morning, they have to go out and they have to plant the seeds. They have to tend the soil. They have to make sure everything is right to grow their crops and to have that harvest. If you don't plant the seed, nothing's gonna grow. I use that reference here, at Deepwater Subsea a lot of times. I tell my team, I say, hey, look, we're farmers. If we're not planting seeds, sooner or later, we're gonna starve. Each and every day, you have to be out there hustling. It's 3:30 in the morning, it's a Wednesday. For me, call it a gift, call it a curse. I don't sleep a lot. I saw a great quote the other day that said, hustlers don't sleep, they nap. For me, it's 2-3 hours of sleep. I wake up, I start thinking about what I want to do. My office is about 6 miles from the house, and I say, what the hell with it? Let's get up, let's get the hustle on, get some 5-hour energies, get some kickstarters, and let's go at it. And let's get the day and maximize every minute that we can. And then when the day's over with, we go back and we do what we need to do. So something to think about. Get out, get the hustle, and do what you need to do to get to the next level. Hump day is today, but it doesn't have to be. Each and every day can be the day that you maximize to do what you need to do to get back in the game. I want to talk a brief moment about perfection. And the people always tell you that you'll never achieve perfection, but you can always strive for it. And for me, I think it's very important. I tell our guys all the time that when it comes to customer service, we want to over deliver to our customers, because the old cliche, you only get one chance to make a first impression. It's true, and it's even more true in today's industry. When you're doing customer support, if I don't over deliver to my customers, they'll never call me back. What I think is interesting is when I was a high school lacrosse coach, things would happen, and I used to tell my players, hey, look, excuse me, this is a life moment. This is a life lesson. I want to tell you about something that's happened. Might be someone drinking and driving and got killed, and I'd pull the players together and say, look, guys, the decisions you make will affect you, down the road. If you're out with your boys, this is happening, walk away, be the man. Because look, this individual is no longer with us because, X, Y, Z. So these are life lessons. My daughter came home this week and she was talking about, she works at a pizza place. And the lady said, hey, look, is there garlic sauce in the box? And she said, yeah. And, she didn't check the box. She just said, yeah. She assumed that the person behind her who was supposed to be putting the stuff in there did their job. Lady went back to the house, sat down to eat, opened the box up, no sauces, called the store up, kind of upset because, hey, look, you told me this was in there, it's not in there. And so my daughter was telling me this story, and she says, Dad, it's not my fault. It wasn't my job to do that. And I said, hey, look, sweetie, you're the last one to have the interaction with a customer. Make sure that you're over delivering. Take 2 seconds. It might not be your job. Open the box. Yeah, it's there. Open the box. No, it's not. Put it in there. Deliver it to your customer. True satisfaction. The reason I want to mention that in the daily grind is because when it comes to interacting with people, that first impression is all you have. Will that person call back to store X because, hey, look, you told me something was there, it wasn't there. I'm going to go over here to store Y and get my pizza from now on. If you call up a company and that first interaction isn't a very good one, your CV, the opportunities, an interview, none of that stuff's going to come back around because that first impression wasn't very good. So for me, taking a life lesson from my daughter, it was the garlic sauce and the pizza. My point to her was take 10 seconds and look and make sure that the person who was supposed to do their job actually did their job. We talk about compliance, we talk about verification, same thing. Completely different, worlds, but the same thing. The assumption is, John Doe did his job. But did he do his job? If you're a senior supervisor, double checking to make sure that your guys are doing what they're supposed to do isn't a crime. It's called verification, it's called compliance, it's called making sure that you're CYA-ing yourself. Because if I'm the senior supervisor and I'm signing my name saying that my team did everything that they're supposed to do, unless I fully trust my team and I know that they'll do each and everything that they're asked of, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna double check. I even do it here at Deepwater Subsea. I'll say, hey, did you get in touch with such and such? I trust my team probably more than any other team I've ever trusted. But my point is, they'll say yes or, oh no, I forgot because we got sidetracked. It's not that I don't trust them, it's that I need to verify that the work is actually being done. So the life lesson for today, first impression is everything. Especially in a downturn market, you need to make sure that your email that you're sending out, that first telephone call, that CV, everything you have is perfect because there is no second chance when it comes to trying to get back in the game if the first possibility that you had with an interaction goes poorly. Something to think about. I want to kind of wrap up this daily grind talking about the alphabet soup that comes after your name. A lot of people are focused today on having to have a degree to put someone in a position. I've even heard a drilling contractor say, hey, look, I think all subsea guys should have a degree. They should have an engineering degree. Personally, I disagree with that. And the reason for that is, yes, a degree is important in some areas. I don't think that having an engineering degree is what you need to be a subsea supervisor in the field. Technical training, non-destructive testing, visual inspections. There's a lot of things that I think you can get outside that you don't need a degree for. So for me, when it comes to the alphabet soup, I was sitting down again talking to my friend in HR and I say, hey, look, I want to move up. She said, if you want to move up, you should think about getting a degree. And I said to myself, will a degree maximize my potential earnings down the road? And unfortunately for me in my position, that answer was no. I could have spent 4 years in college. I could have spent 5 years, 6 years going to night school. And at the end of the day, I'd have been 47, 48 years old. And I would have looked back and said, this actually did me nothing. Look at technical training. Look at various schools that you can go to fill in the gaps of areas that you need improvement on. I think that is where the industry needs to focus on moving forward, is the experience, not the degree. The great crew change that's taking place, you're not losing the guys with the MBAs, you're losing the guys with 20, 30 years worth of experience. I will take a guy with 20 years of experience in the field any day of the week versus someone that has an MBA, has a doctorate, has a whatever degree they have. Don't get me wrong. I have 3 kids that are going through college. Trust me, I have the student loans. I support higher education. But for me, my higher education was the U.S. Navy, was technical training, was just getting out in the field and hustling and doing whatever I needed to do to get to the next level. So hopefully as we go back and try to rebuild the industry, we get this new boom started sometime in 2017-ish. I hope companies will focus more on experience versus degrees. A degree is not the end-all be-all. It's very important in some positions, but when it comes to technical skills, having an engineering degree in some areas can actually hinder your advancement and your growth because you're too boxed into the methodology that you use. If you have the field experience and you've been out there and you've seen things and you can kind of, envision what's going on versus 1 + 1 is this and this and this, you'll find that guys without degrees are much better hustlers and troubleshooters than guys who are used to being locked in a box, having to have a formula because this is the way it works. In the field, that's not how it works. You need to be able to improvise and adapt. So again, wrapping up this daily grind, look at the gaps that you have in your experience, look at areas where you can improve on, and go out and try to find training in that. Once you go to get back into the industry and you get back into that hustle, and even if you're in the industry, I talk a lot of times about guys who are out trying to get back in. You can be in the industry today, take a look in the mirror and go, what do I need to do to get better at my job? Don't be satisfied with today. Look to the future and how do you maximize your kind of growth potential and what you can give back to your employer. Too many guys are just happy with being where they're at. Hey, I have a job. 1st and 15th, I get my check. I'm good. What would happen if you were a more valuable asset? Don't be an employee number. Be an asset to the company. Be somebody when they go to look to do the cuts, they go, hey, look, we can't cut John. He's too valuable to us. Just something to think about on this Wednesday.